I'm like,
I
that
love when
shit
you
happens
basically
at
see
the table.
Phantom dice rolls.
Yeah, well, then of course his head starts to sink, and he's like, "Brrr." Like it's so damn funny.
And the look of horror on the guard's face.
Well,
Like they're like,
horrified, too.
oh,
What
what?
happened to this poor man?
Yeah. Well, look at that.
You know, for me, I think my
Subbing
funny-
right away.
Besides that, oh yeah. Besides the moment you were just talking about, D, I think
Yeah.
one of my favorite ones was when the I can't remember his name right now, but the super righteous, like perfect dude was
You're
starting
talking
to
about the
explain how
paladin,
the bridge
yeah.
worked. Yeah, the paladin, how the bridge worked. And it was like, oh my god, I could just see like a DM who'd been making this like this really
Yes.
complex thing, and the guy just steps on it and breaks it. And the look that he gives him is like what the DM is like, seriously? Really?
That's Drew. That would be Drew's character.
He was.
would
That
do
was
that.
that's actually that whole thing was me when it came to anything
Yeah.
related to
Well,
God.
the part of that movie that broke me the most was the fat dragon. Like I lost it when
Yeah,
it
the
just
kids love
when
that.
it's crawling like. "Brrr."
yeah.
The fat
That's
dragon.
apparently an actual dragon in 5th edition. That's like in lore, which I
Yeah.
had no idea.
I've only vaguely heard of something like that, which is why I wasn't shocked, but I was like, oh my god, they actually did it.
Welcome everybody to Shadows, our D&D podcast, where we review movies and
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could easily probably get away with something like that. I mean, but Dungeons and Dragons was a good movie, and it's the kind of movie I can rewatch and enjoy all over again. 'Cause like I said, it's just,
yeah.
it's like watching a tabletop game. I can't lie, because they don't go so damn serious that everybody has to have accents and proper diction and correct speech or any of that. It's very present, but at the same time, the events and the things that are happening matter. So that's that weird cognitive dissonance that D&D is.
Well, did you like how in the fight scene, like I caught this on the second watch after it was pointed out to me, they took 6-second rounds.
Yeah.
Like
Yep,
it
I was
switched
watching
to a
for that,
different
too.
character's POV, and then it switched, and then it switched.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wish you could throw down as hard as the friggin' paladin in 6 seconds. Holy crap, the number of sword swipes. That dude was just
Well,
going crazy.
He's a DMPC, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, my
He's
favorite when
mid-next.
he's done is like, I must go now. And then he just walks in a straight line.
Yeah, he's like,
Yes.
he's gonna go around the rock. Nope, he's going right over the top.
Again,
what
perfect.
what Inky wanted to have at the very end when they're like in the treehouse or whatever is like, so same time next week, and have somebody like, I can't, I'm busy. Oh yeah, I gotta do a thing. Like that would have been perfect ending.
That actually would have been really choice. Like some
That
kind of
would've
like
been.
post-credit scene. kind of
Yeah.
thing. I saw this thing online that I think is a stream goal for D that I'd like to get for him. It's an Elgato prompter.
Oh, cool.
And so what it is it's like it's got a screen about this big, flat, and then it's mirrored, and then the camera's right in the screen, or like in the mirror part, so you can be looking right at the camera, and you can see like your desktop if you wanted, or you can see chat, or you can see whatever, which is just, that's really cool.
Nice. Yeah, that, like something like a Stream Deck, but a little more complex. Interesting. But
Yes, that's
it shows
Elgato
stuff
makes the
off.
Stream Decks too, so
Yeah.
it works.
That's cool.
It is.
So we
really cool.
verified that we can hear all of us.
I checked my audio and made absolutely certain that all my stuff was working
Oh.
before I started it all up.
Yep, I
so
heard myself. We're
yeah,
good.
we should be good.
If it's just me, that's all I care about. Why do I always wear the same color as my background? Like, even with the lights on, I'm like floating in.
It's really
think
weird.
a little
I'm gonna
bit-
probably have to replace my camera eventually because I wind up washed out. I'm more black and white than I have color. I don't know why that's the case. And I noticed that the other day. I was like, why do I look so blanched out? It's just the camera. It's due.
I'm obsessed with it.
Well, anybody want to give
Oh,
us
wow.
the recap here?
I mean, what I remember is that we were like, successful check, successful check. Okay, let's go. Danny had learned how to, not Danny, Asher, his new identity, had learned how to do a disguise thing.
17
Oh
months.
yeah, it's your
Holy
turn.
crap.
Look at that. Oh, that's a very nice explosion.
Yeah.
I like that it throws in our custom ones too.
You can
Yeah.
choose when you're putting
It's
it
always
together. You can
fun.
choose which.
See the Ken hype.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You
he
know-
had practiced doing like a disguise, like face spell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. And you're successful in that. Like really successful.
and so they have it keyed to like a little token. Because he embedded his success. He did enchantment, really for the first time, and imbued an object with the effect.
Yeah.
And even though I had come up with a cool name for it, then D in his like infinite,
Is Venus?
D-ness.
Oh, that sounds bad.
I
I don't want the Venus in me.
The D-ness. Just as
Why?
like, oh yeah, let's call the spell
See?
face mask. And I'm like, oh, well that is way better than I was like mask of mirrors or something like that. And you're like face mask. Like, oh yeah, that works perfectly fine. And in Wheel of Time, people won't come after us for it. So
Yeah, so but the main critical juncture here was that everybody was going back to the second safe house that was abandoned, and with the hopes of springing a trap with the help of your hacker hire, trying to
Yeah.
find out the origins of whoever it was that was trying to find you. So it's a cat and mouse game, at least in the digital world.
Yeah. We left off right as we were starting our heist, basically our little ruse, because Malcolm was heading into the building, disguised as Tobias, and we have
Tiberius?
our hacker buddy watching the airwaves as it is to see if they can
Yeah.
catch the person, and we were all standing by and watching, and I think that's really where it got started, because Malcolm had made it inside the building and he just needed to switch, like wait there for a few minutes and switch and then come out.
right.
Someone else. So I think that's where we left off. Like literally, he'd just gotten into the building, right? D?
Yeah, and it was supposed to.
Yeah, he was getting to the
like,
building.
be-
We had a secondary
be
position that
seen-
had visibility to the building itself, but we were
Yeah.
adjacent.
All right, I guess I will. Kincaid, aka Malcolm, will.
Oh yeah, we should go through our. Let me write that down. 'Cause I always
We'll
forget.
go through another stealth check.
Kincaid is Malcolm. Asher is Danny. What was Hugh's name?
Okay, 15 stealth. When he's in the
Roger
building.
that. Yep.
I
What
just
was
remember that
Hugh's
his last name was Galrun. I'll have to look it up.
And then he's going to do an awareness check when he's in the building, too.
That would be wise. Yes.
Oh, and Danny's mom
13.
finally has the name
Good.
Estelle.
Yes.
Rue.
His mother's
That's right.
name is Estelle, which Barnaby right now is in transit, picking her up and coming back.
Yeah.
Contact is restricted because you don't want to increase your chances of being caught. So you're just trusting that he'll get the job done and get you back. Okay,
You're,
so we have a 13 awareness when you're coming into the building. We are on the outside, so I believe we have alias Tiberius along with Asher. I'm sorry, it was Henry Casper was his name, but I couldn't remember until just now. But Henry, Asher's father, is with Asher, and I believe is there as well. We're all in that
Yep.
secondary position, just kind of monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
We sent our baddest wolf to go into the frickin' place to find out if it's safe or not.
Oi! I'm Henry Trasker!
I do remember that too.
Convincing, very convincing.
This is my American accent.
I believe
Makes
that's
me-
your
all it
Egyptian
makes me think
and
of-
or Spanish.
All it makes me think of is that whole thing with Red versus Blue when they go into like Caboose's brain and he gets
Oh my
everything
God.
wrong, and he's just like, "Arr, I've got me a Southern accent." Like,
I was just thinking Sean Connery in Highlander. I'm an
Oh, God.
Egyptian, the Spaniard.
right?
With the
I'm a Spaniard.
Scottish accent.
It's like, no, you're not. Spaniards don't sound like that. Well, anyway, so you cross the street. Now, of course, you guys are in a heavily industrialized part of the overall, like, city and areas that you can be in. The Daedalus Belt is a centralized location where there's so much going on, mostly transit. There's a lot of warehouses. There's a lot of manufacturing and industry that comes from here because it spreads north to south. So it sits at that center point between all the major territories above and below. So yeah, this is a place that is less for the residential and a lot more for everything else. That said, you guys are buried inside of this alleyway, watching as Kincaid goes in to investigate what's going on with the face of Henry Tasker, aka Tiberius, going into the building looking for whatever it is he supposedly might be looking for if your ruse plays out. And while you're monitoring, you'll have to make yourselves go ahead and you guys can make combat sense awareness. That would be you as well, Bill. Your awareness was okay, but let's do a combat sense also. Yep, you're muted.
Fair enough. I forgot that I forgot to set a minor milestone for myself.
Oh right.
'Cause I hit 35.
Character sheet is where? Okay, we're doing combat sense.
17.
Combat sense.
Not bad.
So many icons. Are you rolling in OOC?
He's rolling an OOC.
He is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because,
He doesn't follow the rules.
Okay, I almost did a D20.
He's a
so-
rebel. A D20. Eh.
D19.
Ooh, exploded.
Yeah.
Your is your upload odd tonight, D? Like
No, why?
I keep seeing warnings from Discord that you streaming the video or audio to us is like it's degraded. It's like all pixelated, which is weird because the stream looks okay and the in video look okay, but
Yeah, everything was fine on my end. Even you guys.
I heard a little like static a little, but it's gone now.
yeah, it is. I don't know.
I got a 25
All right.
with a
Yeah.
crit and then a 4 after that.
You're super aware right now.
I'm and if it's magic, I'm like extra hyper aware. So
Well, in this case, it is not a magical combat sense awareness, so it doesn't apply. But distractible.
Yep, that's one
all
of my
right.
disadvantages.
I like that you put all those in. By the way, our viewers don't get to see it, but
It's for me. Like I
It's-
just
I
like to
enjoy
know
it.
what I'm actually doing. Because if you look at last week, ain't no way from even the rolls I did, besides the street deals, I didn't know.
So, Danny, you're keeping a close watch on things. Your father's watching the entrance where he watches the fake version of himself enter. And while you're kind of monitoring and keeping an idea of what might be going on, you happen to notice that there is not movement, but a disruption of various things that would be typical for an area like this. Now, you have every so often a grounder will roll by, and it's not manned. It's something that usually transports, moves goods, ores, anything else that might be going along. It just kind of rolls by with that sort of electric hum. And then you have the occasional flying drones that are going over the top. It's when you start to notice the silhouette and shape of certain things placed very strategically in various parts of the area that you start to get the hairs on the back of your neck raising up. You happen to know that there are very humanoid shapes kind of dotted around in and around close to where you guys are actually, keeping an eye on things. And towards probably the most visible point as you're looking across that street and towards the other alleyway point, there is something that looks similar to like garbage or something to that effect, and then it kind of snaps into place that this is kind of an odd place for that garbage to be so close to the edge. But then you start to notice that there's an arm plate, shoulder line, and the back of a head, but it is extremely well disguised as basically refuse.
This is what like the pile of clothes in the corner of your room becomes a shape that's scary in the middle of the night.
It's kind of like that, yeah. But in this one assessment, you catch 4 of these kinds of hiding places where things could be. And you're deadly certain that this is not just garbage or anything else.
So our plan worked.
Yeah.
Right? We were hoping to bait a trap. So
we got debated.
I'm gonna reach over and kind of try and get attention silently of my dad and Drew Gowron. Just like, we've got company.
Yeah, he basically signals in and throughout near, the aperture of this alleyway that you guys are looking out of only gives you a sort of metered view of the front part of your safe house, which is pretty large since the street is pretty far out or fairly wide. But yeah, he, if you follow his track, Hugh and Danny's father follow where these positions are, and you can kind of guess that it is interesting that these are now present, but they're so well concealed that it easily could hide a person or somebody of average height. So even though you can't quite see what he's seeing, it's still pretty clear that there's something wrong.
Especially if they had time to prepare, if they were expecting us,
Mm-hmm.
they could.
They've
They could
been
make
watching
this
for a while
work.
now. Yeah.
Did we have a plan? Like, we're trying to find out who's watching us, right? So we were
The
trying
plan
to catch
was, yeah, you're trying to catch them in
digitally.
the act. At this point, the reason why you guys aren't all going in at once and using Malcolm as more or less your decoy, you're using him as a decoy because he's the strongest and can usually handle a lot of punishment. So if things go really wrong, he's capable of sustaining himself under the circumstances. But the idea was to allure and gather the attention of your hacker, whoever it is that was making
Right.
making it impossible for you guys to live without having to worry about some sort of cyber attack coming from somewhere. And that's really the
we
point.
weren't expecting physical necessarily.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a different point. Probably what's more unnerving.
More of survive the physical so that our hacker can hack the hacker.
Do
Yeah.
we have a way of communicating with each other since we got rid of all
You guys
of our
have
tech?
shortwave. You still do. Yeah, you guys still have communications that you can push through. It's shortwave stuff.
I'm just gonna assume that we created some sort of signal, like 3 quick beeps or something like that, and just try to get Malcolm's attention that he's got company without.
They're sending stones. Anyway.
Right? Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Without without being too. Oh God.
Could be trouble. Anyway, you happen to notice this kind of thing though whenever he's actually inside the building. And then yours was a 17 in your combat sense, correct? Bill?
Yours being okay.
Yes.
All right. So you go to be moving around in here. Now the darkness doesn't really pose much of a problem for you exactly. It's darker in here. There's not a lot for lighting. Most of what is coming in anyway is coming around from smaller lights and things like that as you come inside. they react to your presence, so there's nothing you can really do about it. And the whole idea is to act as if this was expected. So when they start to kind of like clack on, it's not a surprise. But you've got that slightly higher ceiling before the second floor. There's that smell of dust and metal in the air, along with a very profuse amount of like something oily from what was left on the stairwell.
Mhm.
But you go moving through and just kind of, I would imagine you're probably just casing the joint, trying to find out if there's anything in here or anyone waiting for you, I'd assume, or you just walk in, stand, and walk out. Yeah.
So he's gonna he's gonna go up to the second floor like he's going to go to the safe or something, whatever Tiberius.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Tiberius would have done. Because I
Okay.
mean, if he needs to, he can just jump off the second floor. He's fine.
Well, in this case, there is an elevator, if you recall.
Okay, so he'll take the elevator. So the rally, he's just trying to draw their attention more and more, so that until he gets a signal like, "Hey, we got the hacker."
All right. I need one more combat sense awareness, please.
From everybody.
No, just from Bill.
Okay.
One D19. Joke never gets old. 21.
That's good. Dang.
Yeah, you happen to hear something that isn't terribly distant from you, maybe 6-7 feet from where you're standing now. You're going towards the elevator as you take a right from the main entrance and you walk around some of the debris. You head towards that elevator, roughly, maybe 5 paces, 6 paces tops from the elevator point. You hear something shift, and you immediately understand there's something in here that shouldn't be. But they spring load real fast. It looks like they're moving in for some kind of like, up close and personal type attacks at this point, instead of using a firearm or anything else, which is kind of what you expected if you got caught off guard.
Uh-huh. All right, so his eyes are going to go completely black, and he's going to engage Warrior Instinct.
Why wouldn't you? So,
And how many targets are incoming on him?
well, the one
On
that
that
you
combat
see,
sense.
there's a singular one. There's others because you can hear the movement starting to happen in a very coordinated way. But you've got one
Mhm.
target immediately in front of you that is making that move, and it's happening fast. So
Okay. Can I do, would it be awareness or would it be combat sense for tracking the other people by sound?
well, like I said, you can hear them, but you won't be able to determine their numbers. There's at least 2 or 3 more,
Okay.
maybe more than that. You won't be able to get a better detail.
All right, so he's just going to honestly just basically go straight at him like he's charging, pull to the side, kind of blink with his speed, and basically try to do an upper slash with his blade underneath his arm, and then try to do a downstroke around behind his neck.
Trying to make
And
2
then he's-
strokes in the meantime.
And then he'll pause for the other 2 attacks as responses. Okay.
Like having a hard time finding what I needed to find there for a minute. All right, there we go.
So I'll roll for the 2 attacks. $29. And 31.
Okay, those both definitely make it. It tries to maneuver. Now, when you shift, you spin, and you see this target, you see something very similar to what you encountered the last time you were here. It's definitely not. It is not human. It is not alive. It is some kind of robotic drone. It's very humanoid. Doesn't have any kind of facial features or anything. So it's just moving. You couldn't even hear the servos in any part of its joints or anything like that. But you have the smooth plating. It's matted black, not the kind that shines or glosses. You can see it's covered in some kind of dust, like it's been sitting and waiting in the debris, like it was covered in things, which would make sense why you probably looked it over, because it looks exactly like all these other machine parts and everything else like that, so it's blended right in.
Well, then I'm glad I attacked the joints.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, those strokes make
flashbacks
contact.
to our previous droid attack.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
so what's the damage with that blade?
So the damage is going to be 16, but I get a damage bump.
Because you're raging.
The Raging Cajun.
I mean, yeah.
Raging Cajun?
So it's basically additional 5 damage when blood powers that focus on combat gain. So 5 damage. So that is
21 total.
21 total for each strike. So basically
Right.
striking under the arm and then striking at the back of the neck because he's maneuvering behind it.
Right. Okay. All right. I mean, you cleave both the, like your strikes make perfect contact. Your form is excellent. You can feel the blade kind of grinding across that same metal. It's that same infuriating sense where, the armored structure of this thing is definitely much more resilient than you would have if it were something softer. It swivels and throws out a couple of its own attacks as well. Again, using melee and martial arts type attacks instead of using a gun or anything else like that, which is, you note it as being interesting since it didn't try and use a kind of firearm. Because it has one, you can see that, but it's not using it.
And he's going to use his held off 2 attacks to respond to this.
Works for me.
So I'll roll those. I'll roll those right now.
Right, yep. Okay, I got it. You'll probably beat him. Despite his advantages as being robotic.
26.
Robotic. Robotnik.
Drink the oil out of its neck.
And 31.
Drink it.
So 26, 31.
Nice.
So whatever the weapon is, he's trying to catch the weapon and use the upward force of his momentum to strike it out of the grip, and then again strike underneath the throat, just basically to kind of continuing to attack joints.
Well, and in this case, like I said, these are your defensive actions, so you're basically trying to push it back. These blows hit, and it's maneuvering itself in such a way that it's trying to get at you. So you put like the appropriate distance, and you make your strokes, sending its attacks off as it tries to get in close. And it looks like it looks like an attempt to try to restrain. Again, weird.
Trying to restrain him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Despite
probably
the
wants
fact
to
that
take
he's
him
taking-
back.
How close are the stairs to me?
How close to the stairs? You're probably looking at the same thing, anywhere between 7 to 8 paces from where you're at now.
Okay, so he's going to be at this point trying to strike enough position so that he can actually bolt up to the second floor.
You'll hear the rushing of the other units as they're in this room. You're basically trying to move out of the way just shortly after this little brief scuffle. So you're making your move in that direction when you happen to notice two and three more kind of show up in this area, and they start to pursue.
Same mechanicoid?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll take a quick dip out of that. Whenever, so we'll switch from where Bill's at this point up to us outside. So Daniel will be the one that first notices it anyway, but there's only a minute or two before the next part of this whole thing goes down. You have several of the things that you caught start to shift and move. The one that was on the street level, that was down at the bottom ground level rather, it shifts all that debris off and starts moving towards the entrance. There's 2 more on the outside moving that same way.
Toward the building that we're watching?
Towards the
Not
building
toward
entrance,
us.
yes. No, not toward you, towards the building entrance.
Oh.
How many?
3 at least.
Okay.
Hugh, we should go. He's got this covered, I swear. All right, so it's Danny's turn. Asher's turn. I mean, dang. You know, it would be magic time.
Magic time indeed.
Can never find my spells. There we go. Archetype. Well, I'm gonna try something. Oh no, I can't do 2 spells in a turn. Well,
just
I'm gonna
kinda-
try and do a static burst, which is it creates a burst of electrical energy. It's an EMP blast.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be my the ones that are going in. I don't want them to. I have no. We don't know that there's stuff in there that's attacking.
Yeah, we
Nope.
know nothing.
Kincaid.
Nothing
Yeah, I have
cold
no
out.
reference to it.
already.
I mean, you tried to send the
So-
little beeps or whatever, but at that point, it's one of those things where it's like whether he got it or not is
He
unknown.
probably thinks he's got tinnitus or something anyway. He's old. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna do the static burst. Like if they're clustered at all, I'm gonna try and hit all 3 of them.
Well, they're headed into the building, so when you get them fairly close, they're only about 10 feet apart. Whenever you can make this particular move, it's not hard at all. They have to go through the same location.
And that's when you get the message from Malcolm saying, "Get out to here."
Okay. Static burst target 8 threshold 2.
And it's obvious to us that, or at least to Danny, that these are mechanic things.
What
which
is this
why we went for
AOK
static.
business? It's hilarious.
From the darkness.
AOK.
Everything is a-okay.
Anyway,
Not hard.
I believe in a thing called love.
That's what my wife and I got introduced at our wedding. Oh wait, I gotta do magic first. Oh my god, this is like I forgot how to play. It's been a week. 3d10. Target 8. Oh, I got a 9 and a 1. So I'm gonna spend a luck just to erase the botch.
Okay.
But that does not meet the threshold.
Okay.
I had
So
to get 2 to meet the threshold, so I just got 1. One success.
so you pull the power in. You're concentrating as much as you can. You can even feel the static electricity gathering in your hands and around your body, and makes all the hair on the side of your head even pull up a little bit. When you hear it go pop pop like that, it just fizzles out.
Yeah. Literally fizzle. Yeah.
And 3 mechanical heads swivel at the same time to stare at you.
Well, one of them
Right.
does, then the other 2 do. Yeah. Because electricity, I don't know if you've ever heard it, whenever it goes across in the airways, not quiet.
No.
And then, so your father's like, oh shit. And, Hugh,
I'm gonna try and like take cover, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm gonna do that, and then it doesn't work, and I'm gonna like duck down.
yeah, you're gonna get the hell out of the way so you can get ready for your next one, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would be what I'd be doing. Is
There
time to
goes
go.
my surprise, right?
I don't have any. I mean, I have a gun, but like shooting at range like that is not smart.
Well, actually, shotguns can kill a man to up to 120 yards. You've got plenty.
Well, yeah, but like we were in a building watching. Now when they know where we're at, I'd want to be in a more open area instead of.
That would
contained.
not be good, actually. Open areas are bad. You want to be
Really? Although
in not
that's
open
okay.
areas. Not like
Only
strategically.
fight.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, especially in warfare, you never want to be in an open field. You want cover, you want
Well,
obstructions.
sorry, what I meant was like I didn't want to be out in the open. What I meant is like not them knowing where we're at and in a contained area seems like a bad idea. Moving to a different area seems like a good idea.
I
Is what
like
meant.
that. Yeah, we
And
can
again,
move.
Malcolm
And you
goes
can
over
get
the beam.
ready.
Malcolm goes to the beam and says, "You really should leave now.
All right. So I believe Tiberius was actually carrying with him a proper sidearm. I don't recall if you guys had anybody else with you at the. I don't think it was.
I
Yeah.
think it's
Okay.
just us.
No, it's just us.
Yep.
Everybody else is like rehabbing or reconnoitering or.
Yeah. We
Right,
cleared out
so-
our NPCs.
If you want, you can try and just kind of give me like, more or less an intelligence essence check to see if you can actually figure out a way to be in the building to give you a better advantage, or a tactics roll if you have that instead.
Good tactics.
You like ready in action? Shoot whatever comes through the door.
Yeah.
Well,
do
I
that.
actually had 4 ranks in tactics. Dang. I guess that makes sense for my persona. Alright. The best part though is that I don't. I'm not distractible anymore.
That is good.
So that's,
I like
Good
that.
use of a milestone.
yeah. Let's see here. 1d10 plus. What is it? 13. 13.
Amazing how that actually feels really good.
Right? I was like, because you need to focus now. Now that like our lives have been upended, Hugh's like, I gotta focus.
Oh, pretty bad
Okay.
roll. 3
No,
on
that's
the
actually a
dice,
good
but
roll. That's just above the average.
Tactics, yeah. The tactics, like the fact that I trained into it, showing how balanced that is.
Yeah. So, with a 16 tactic, you're able to discern the building itself is kind of one of those open, empty warehouses. Like you guys were peeking through one of the one of the apertures that was kind of like on the side of the building that would look adjacent to the building, or to the safe house that you guys had been in. So you push further in, and you can create some obstructions. You kind of look up above, and there are some catwalks and a few other things that are in that general placement that could give you both an advantage of oversight and concealment. Maybe not necessarily cover, but definitely those two first things, and that can be very handy if you need to give Danny time to react.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like, okay, they know where we're at. We need to hide. Let's go.
All right, everybody needs to make stealth who's running inside the building, and then we'll go back to Bill here.
Stealth check. Scream it out.
Right, stealth check.
Let's see, what is my stealth? 8.
12 for Danny.
Not bad.
Uh, 15.
All right, and then Tiberius. All right, he manages to
Danny's
get
one of
through.
those loud, obnoxious teenagers.
All right, so you guys run and hustle. Try to keep yourselves in that same area. So you get up to a catwalk, which, like I said, these warehouses have the slightly taller, almost like it's a 2-story distance from floor to ceiling. So you can get up into those catwalks, and it's difficult to do it somewhat quietly, but you get up a ladder that goes and then oversees a large portion of the rest of the floor, where there are still a lot of vacant equipment and so on, because this is more of a, it's not in full functionality, so it's closer to a junkyard than an actual warehouse. So a lot of the stuff hasn't been maintained, but these catwalks are still in decent enough condition that you don't have to worry about it. But they do squeak when you're sort of moving around, so you have to be very careful about that. But you guys get into a position before they come through one of the main entryways into the warehouse, but you guys have visibility on them. So we flip it back. We've got Bill now trying to contend with these other three.
So he's essentially, he's got a 42 sprint,
Yep.
and his goal is to sprint to the second floor and essentially jump out of the building and then levitate down to the ground. That's his intention.
Okay.
So he's
Are you trying
basically
to rejoin us?
yes, he's trying to. He hasn't heard anything from you, and he basically said you need to leave.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to, because he's not gonna. He knows he can't take the number that he's facing because his weapons aren't doing anything. I mean, they're stopping them, but he doesn't have time to take on 3 at once and probably survive. So
Well, 4 all technically, because you saw 3 more
4.
emerge. Yeah.
That's right. So he saw 4, and then he's basically sprinting at max vampiric speed as much as he
I like
can
it.
to get out, and then he's going to levitate and just basically jump down, levitate, and then sprint back to your position.
You're gonna
Okay,
sneak out the
I
back
want.
door.
I would like to get an acrobatics roll from you, sir, at a -5 while you're making this dead run.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Those are fun sounds.
Well, reflex only, huh?
He doesn't
Oh,
have
you're not
acrobatics.
training at all in acrobatics?
He's not. Well, he's not known for his grace.
Well, the problem
You
is
said-
those stairs are still covered in oil.
Oh.
Oh, with that
Oh.
Oh
one.
my gosh, this could be like Benny Hill music as you're trying to and you're getting chased by
Well, this is when good old. Wait, Dukes of Hazard. Well, that's when Bill knew he made a mistake. Time to re-roll his characters again.
But you're wondering how
I want- I wonder how he's gonna die this time.
freeze frame.
It ain't gonna be pretty, folks. Freeze frame.
I mean, you gotta have a high reflex as your base anyway.
9,
Yeah. So you still get your
13.
penalty.
Can I bump that with luck?
Luck? Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay, so I'm lucky.
Just bump that up to an explosion.
So I don't want to do a re-roll. I want to roll on top of this. Is that 1 luck or 2 luck with lucky?
With lucky,
Two
it's 2
with-
points, and you can roll an ad.
Yeah, you
Okay,
get
I'm gonna roll- I'm
you
gonna
basically
roll
make
an
an
ad.
explosion.
So he basically he feels the oil under his foot, like, you know, when you're walking downstairs at night and you have children or pets and your foot's just about to step on something and your nervous system instantly tells you exactly what it is before you step into it.
Spidey sense
That's-
activates.
That's what Kincaid is dealing with right now. He goes, oil. So we're gonna attack on another D10 to this.
That would be good.
God, I know that feeling.
So 17.
That just makes it.
Why he's
You're-
lucky.
Your vampire sense was tingling.
So you hit that first fucking step is, oops, I forgot. Because you feel that little click like that as you go shifting to the side, but your forward momentum was enough to carry you up, so you didn't go sliding out some weird direction or another. What happens is you go sprinting up this stairway, you're skipping steps on the way up, but keeping you on the balls of your feet, and then you slide around and crash around the inside of the stairwell landing and go
No, he
right
grabs,
up the second
he
flight.
grabs the rail so that he just goes. Shoo.
Yeah. And you go right up there. These drones are hot on your heels and they do not slip. But I mean, you get up there and you start heading for the actual window. You're going to make it just out of there because, like, you know, at 42 yards, man, that's more than enough to reach that whole spec. So you'll be in mid-high dive whenever your turn finally ends as you're getting out onto the street below. Yeah. But that could have been really bad. Those drones have got polymorphic grips, so they don't slip on shit.
I hate these drones.
Drones
I just
suck.
want you to know that. Alright, His Majesty wants let out.
So, yeah, we are now. You guys are up in the catwalk area, and you're not. It's kind of eerily quiet. You're just kind of up there trying to figure out exactly where they come through.
Breathing.
Now, you have some concealment because there are like boxes and smaller objects that are kind of piled in various parts of where these wider catwalks are, and some of it is equipment. But you're hiding up there amongst all this junk. And again, we're at the top here, so Danny, you're kind of looking down, and you can see them coming back through. So you'll have another opportunity to throw something out.
This is when I miss Barrick. He would just
Fire away!
he would just be like,
Yeah, Barrick was
Ah.
he was a monster though.
He was. So okay, so I have my bracelet, and I put 2 charges into that, 2 successes into my enchantments,
Right, which are still pending. You haven't
which haven't been used yet. So I'm down to 1 automatic success, like embedded in the bracelet. So I'm going to, if I have line of sight still to these bots in our new position, to these drones in our new position, well, I don't know. Are we hiding?
You guys are
think
staying concealed for now, but there's no point in staying concealed for too long because they'll eventually sweep and find you anyway. So
Right. Well, I'm gonna try and do another static
all right, go for it.
burst to try and get him, but I'm charging it up with 1 automatic success. So
All right.
let me see. I still have to roll the other one, you know.
That's creepy. A creepy chew. Oh,
Not happening.
you have luck to get rid of that bot, because then you'd have a success threshold.
You'd
I'm
have
gonna
2
spend
successes, yeah.
I'm gonna spend 2 luck. I'm gonna turn the 1 into a 2 and turn the 7 into an 8. So that gives me 1 success plus the. Oh wait, I've got Iron Will. Does that count for? No, that doesn't count for magic. What?
No.
That's
And no, I
something
don't have
detected
Iron
as
Will.
well.
Why did I say that?
I am still thinking about Barrett.
Barrett flashback. Wait a second. No. So I'll
Which
spend
character am
2
I
luck
on today?
to boost those 2 separate rolls. I'm down to 1 luck. But that gives me a success, and I had the guaranteed success from
Yes,
my
sir.
bracelet. So I'm tapped. I'm basically out of luck, and my bracelet's empty. But that is a static burst, so it creates a burst of electrical energy, shorting electronics and cybernetics.
Yeah. Well, and in this case, you're up there and you're watching very closely. They kind of like spread out for a minute, but they cluster together again. You wait for that opportunity, and you start to pull that same power back. There's a faint whitish blue light that collects itself between your 2 hands, and when you pull it out, it's almost like pulling pulling something apart, and it causes that snap like a party popper. You have that same pressure, and you just feel this like pop like that. There is this wild buzzing in your ears. You feel the spell take root, and right where you're watching, you see this EMP field just kind of burst for a very split second. It's very, like, it actually causes you to feel something in your chest when you execute it in that same way. These 3 drones, all 3 of them, stop functioning correctly. One actually kind of does that twitch and then falls back with its gyro stabilizer completely going
That's
out.
fine.
Yeah, like they're completely and utterly disabled at this point.
Just in time for Kincaid to make his way back over to us.
Yeah, more or less. Well, you hear an unfamiliar voice coming over your comms. You don't recognize it because he's never spoken to you, any of you directly before. But you hear it over this comm link, and it's just, "Hey, this channel's encrypted. I almost have it. How long can you stay where you're at?"
As long
And
as
it's,
we
like,
need
it's
to.
hitting everybody.
Like Danny's not talking to strangers.
Yeah, I mean, he would respond. It's like, as long as we need to.
And Tiberius is like, "Who is this?" And it's like, "Your friend. Now just stay put for a moment and don't get dead." And then the comms cut out. Of course, you hear that same thing, and you're hauling absolute nanas all the way across the street at this point, and you've got these drones hot on your heels, yeah. Because you can hear them
It's
now
like-
because they're doing that full run where you can hear that, like they can hear the clump of
Is
their
this-
feet.
So over the comms, you just hear this. Boy, I told you to run. I swear by all that is holy. Please tell me you're running. Please. And he goes, Henry, please tell me that you've been running this entire time since I told you to run.
Man, you just got hit at this point. It's like, nope, because they were chasing us down before we had a chance to do much of anything else. We're in the adjacent warehouse.
And then he goes, "What did he do?"
I resemble that remark.
He's like, "What did?" He's running towards the warehouse now. And he says, "What did he do?"
All right. So are you just gonna spend the next portion, like your whole next turn, just getting into this?
He's
additional
hauling
warehouse?
ass at this point.
All right.
He says, "Well, since you're not running, maybe you could prepare an ambuscade. I have 4 behind me."
All right. While you're saying,
meantime,
it's like
though,
I've got Fort
after-
behind me. When you actually issue that out, that is. Can you just make a dodge roll for me, please? 1.
Okay. Ken, that gif was hilarious, by the way. Just okay. I gotta get to my dodges now.
D, I want to take my shotgun to the face of these bots that Danny disabled because they're
You
just
know,
disabled.
you have so much to live for.
I mean, yeah, you can
To
definitely do
grace
that. They're
you.
standing targets, so you have
19.
you have ambush when you're taking your shots. $19. Damn.
Oh wow! I'm so glad this is a
D19,
private
D19.
chat. Scott.
What do you do? What are you doing in there?
It was in reference to the Pikachu.
If only the people could see what we're seeing.
No.
Okay.
It's scandalous.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to look at my pistol grip. It's a rifle. Okay, so rifle.
All right.
eight.
So you take a hit of something from behind you, Bill. It only does 1 point of damage. It's oh my god, Jesus. No. 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 No.
That
This
was
is a bad
simultaneous.
bill.
At the exact same time.
That was simultaneous.
Why the fuck is it sneezing? Anyway,
So I take a blow. Go on.
let me decide how much damage it is. Well,
See,
so-
I posted that knowing that the max damage is probably going to achieve because I posted that.
You're a daring individual, sir. No, it's only 1 point of damage, but you hear something crackle. Your body kind of seizes up. I just need you to do a body essence check real fast. It's not from pain. It's just literally like physics at this point.
Okay, so body essence check.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, roll 10d10. Explode 10, fail 1. Targets what?
8. Standard.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
good.
Damn.
Yeah,
We're good.
you lose some of your movement towards the end, so you're gonna make it just to the doorway, not inside. But it's only because the taser that they employed managed to cause you to stutter stop for just a minute, and then you kept on running. But they launched, all 4 of them launched some kind of non-lethal attack. Only one of them was able to actually hit you.
And you just hear this. I don't like these things.
All right, Hugh, you said you were gonna take pot shots. Like I said, you've got ambush from your current range and the fact that they're not moving. So fire away.
Alright, I already did. It's right above Bill's essence check.
Oh, kablamo. Yeah, shotgun to the face.
All right, and you just do it the once. think you probably only got the one.
I don't know how many times I could shoot. Like,
Well,
I mean,
usually
I
you only
know how
have
many times I
one.
can
Like
shoot.
your rate of fire is what dictates that in certain weapons, and the shotgun's
it's
once.
So it's
Yeah.
once, yeah.
Yeah, so you
What
basically
I meant
shoot.
is I didn't know how many rounds of shooting I had.
Okay, so the first one that you make impact on, what's the damage for that shotgun anyway?
12.
All right. So and then let's see here. Tiberius is just going to be like trying to stay in the kind of in the proximity of things. He's moving across the catwalk, going down the way to kind of give Q some cover. He ends up taking several shots with his pistol. Same advantages. Firing at the same one that he's got. You guys are just laying a bombardment down. And these drones are definitely heavy enough. You can see that there's some damage going on, but it's not quite a lot. But they're not getting out of their disoriented state, thankfully. All right.
Good.
So, Bill, I mean, you come pushing through finally. You get through the door. And, from our vantage point, we can see that Malcolm comes rushing in. He's got a weird gait in his, his gait's kind of strange. But finally, it stops when it gets all the way inside. But you saw arcing electricity stretching across his back at an angle, and then he finally gets himself into a point where he's like capable of like moving without hindrance. And then he, sure enough, is followed by 4 other drones who come sweeping in.
He pulls into kind of a defensive position.
Okay. So yeah, you can literally turn about because now that you're inside of this place, it's back to you again as far as your response.
Oh, okay. He wants to keep them just confined within the doorway.
Okay.
So actually, let's do an awareness check to see if he actually knows they're in there. Because
he knows that he's being pursued. I mean, that's
no.
hands
I
down,
mean,
they're-
teammates.
Yeah, I mean, if you just do a quick awareness, you'll see him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why he's doing the awareness. Oh my god, I have to go that spot again because I can't memorize my numbers. Okay, so he doesn't see the people. He just assumes. It's like, of course they're here. Turns around and goes, ha ha!
All right.
And charges in just to kind of keep them confined within the doorway.
All right.
So he's got 4 targets. So he's going to be doing strikes to exposed weapons or threats. So he's not trying to attack vitals. He's trying to attack potential, I don't know, tasty shock things or whatever.
Yeah, they all have some kind of sidearm. It looks like it's something that you can see that they have completed some kind of reload and they're going to be pulling up with this weapon. They're keeping at a distance because once they clear the doorway, they don't approach you closer, and then they like pull up to fire. But you're fast, and you're going to be able to you basically whirl and make that sort of charge attempt. This is going to be one of those odd moments where Danny will have the ability to support you from his vantage point, since they're focused on you and he's at a distance. So you're basically going to be able to make a simultaneous attack here. Because the 3 at the ground floor are no longer a problem.
Yeah, because that's
That's where I
25, 26, 32, and 31. Attacking the weapons.
Yeah. I mean, you go swinging hard and start batting across. They spread out a little bit, trying to avoid you. And they're shifting and moving, but you manage to disarm, distract, or basically make contact with their with the arms that they're carrying, the sidearms in, so they can't make that firing. I mean, you close distance, and from where we're sitting, we see just basically swinging steel and sparks as you're kind of moving across and making these cuts. And like I said, Danny, you can make your strike here and now while he's got them sort of distracted.
I've never done this. I've done a lightning trap, which is like a premeditated, like write the runes, like all that stuff. I've done sparks. I've done static. I'm very like lightning focused. I
Yeah.
want to do a chain lightning. I want to
do it.
I want to do chain lightning. I want to
I've been
pull
waiting for
in
this. Please do.
a bolt that can, jump to adjacent targets if they're close enough.
Yeah, and in this case, that would work. So,
I'm going to help this along. I'm gonna soul burn,
okay.
which lets
Oh,
me
yeah.
throw my will on top of the evocation roll. My will is a 7, so I'm gonna take 5 of that and throw it onto basically like a souped up sparks lightning sort of thing.
Yeah, you're basically just elevating sparks to a much higher degree.
Yeah, so that'll be
Give him a big static
now.
shock.
Sparks has a threshold of 1. Obviously, this is improvised, so it'll have a higher threshold. But I'm gonna throw down an 8d10.
Yeah, boy. Let's go.
Yeah, boy.
Target. Now my target on sparks is 7, but what would this be, an 8?
It'd be an 8. You go back to standard, yep.
Yeah.
Come on, let's see them big numbers. I want to see big numbers. Come on.
One.
Big
Oh, we got an
Oh
explode.
my god, dude.
Nope, they canceled out. I got 2 1s.
Holy crapola, dude.
No luck.
Yeah.
I have
So
1 luck
he's
left, so I can
Yeah. Danny
I can turn
Danny
one of
goes
those
in.
ones in, but that's 1 success.
You should I think you should really pull into using some of your IP to bounce your evocation discipline up. You probably have a lot. We're gonna be in somewhere in the. If you guys haven't spent any, this is like 30. There's 360 IP available somehow. So
I have 95 IP unspent.
oh, nice. Okay, so everybody
No,
kind
one
of feels
success.
this. Yeah, I mean,
But
one.
yeah, 1 success.
All right, so you feel this immense kind of like power push through, and it's one of those things where you're trying really hard. You burn that energy fast, and let's see here. Let's see, 1, 2 plus. I don't know if you've been tracking your exhaustion.
Well, this is my first round of exhaustion, so I have 5 because I added my 5 will.
Yeah, plus the 2
For the
ones
full
in
burn.
the 2 ones in that roll for the
Yeah.
lightning. So the 2 will stay as a permanent exhaustion until you rest. The 5 ebbs off because of the soul burn.
Yeah. Oh, and I gotta roll.
So there's this massive influx of power, even from down below, Malcolm. You can feel that there's a whirlwind of something happening, and it's in the upper area. So your assumption about them being close was correct, because you can feel that power coalescing at the upper part near the back. Then you see this sort of kind of strange, very small sort of blue orb, kind of just go whoop, out of the periphery of your eye. It makes contact with the target to your left, at its right shoulder. So you see it get hit from the guy on the left. There's this huge flat sound with like the smell of ozone that comes out, and an arc of electricity bounces to the second target. What was your spell power, by the way?
So my spell power is my base power is a 10, so I'll roll that.
Well, it's a flat number for the damage because your spell power is a collective.
Oh, my spell attack, sorry, it's a 14. So do I need to roll that, or
Well, that's the spell attack. What's the actual power behind it? There's like per
10.
success. 10? Okay. So, I mean, nice, actually. That works out pretty well.
Yeah, I hadn't rolled damage or anything because I hadn't.
Yeah, you don't roll damage for spells. It's just dependent on your successes based on power.
Noise.
Right. What I mean is I hadn't rolled the spell attack to see if it lands.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can go for it. Please do. I'll just modify these numbers if it fails. 'Cause I forgot about that.
The 16
That would be more
on the
than
spell
enough. Yeah.
attack.
Yeah.
So then it's 10 per hit.
Yep. Well, it jumps once, so your one success gave you a single jump, doing damage to the first and second targets. These two targets now are actually suffering the same problem that you would get with it being hit with EMP, though. So they basically lock up. The first one that he hit is actually like really messed up because you can see where it makes impact. It actually kind of blows some of the armor platelets off on this side of it. And whenever it leaps out the other side, you can see more of that same kind of damage from the neck and shoulder area. The other one just kind of gets locked up and frozen, sort of like teeters off to the back and then just falls backward, making your targets from 4 to 2 now. Hugh, do you have anything that you want to do from your current standpoint?
No. I mean, I think I'll switch to my where's my shit? My Minimax and try. I don't want to shoot where Malcolm's at, obviously, because
Right, you can shoot towards the center of the warehouse down below where these other drones are.
the bots that are still disabled.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna keep shooting at them because we've seen that these things do not stop, so I need to stop them.
Right. So, and
And
that
I'm gonna
weapon
shoot
was
3
what
shots.
again?
It's a Minimax handgun.
Right. What's like? Is it 10 millimeter or something? What's the damage on it?
It's 6 damage. So if I hit all 3 of the shots, it does more than the shotgun.
Yeah.
It doesn't say what kind of ammo, or it doesn't say what. It just says ammo is 12 times 3. So I don't know what anything
You're
else
good.
about it.
It's a small arms round. It's probably a 9 millimeter.
So I do it 3 times, right? I roll 3 times.
Well, if you're doing a burst fire, just roll once.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
it's
you're
just
shooting a
blank,
single
blank, blank.
target 3 times.
Yeah.
Blop, blop, blop. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Okay. 1d10 plus 7. $19.
Okay. Yeah, all three shots in that burst make impact. Tink, 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 tink.
May not feel like I'm doing anything, but I'm reducing their health.
Okay.
Well, I'm failing at spellcasting, so you know
You
it's
did damage though.
And again, Tiberius will send off several shots of his own, focusing fire on that same target. Okay. All right. So, Malcolm, we're back to where you're at here. So, 2 of the targets in front of you got disabled or sort of removed from combat for the time being. You're up.
So he kind of saw the magic kind of take effect. So he's
Yeah.
going to assume that Danny's still okay.
Yep.
I have
And-
4 rounds of that soul burn hitting me.
Ouch.
So he's going to try to basically use his attacks to keep them bunched up. So the 2 that are not disabled, he's going to attack one to kind of move it into the group, and then kind of position to attack the other to move it in. So those are, again, attacking the weapons, but in a way that basically is striking so that they try to evade, or striking so that they try to move in.
Sounds like a plan.
Mm-hmm.
See how our friendly hacker is doing.
Bill, your rolls are too high. Stop it.
His base is so high.
I know. The plus
So
23 is
he's-
insanity.
It's his blood. I mean, he's got warrior
Yeah.
instinct. He's got warrior instinct. He's got dead warrior. He's got melee master, like rank 2 to begin with.
Yeah, this is kind of your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing,
Yeah.
man.
Well, and I mean,
Oh,
if you run out of blood, none of this stuff is possible. It dies out.
So I mean, I don't have blood. I can't do stuff like this. Well, yeah.
All right. So are you focusing 2 attacks, 2 each?
one. Uh-huh.
Okay. Alrighty then.
And he's just focusing to contain because he knows he can't really truly hurt them unless he just keeps on whacking at them.
Yeah, which is
So
the
he's
truth
just
because
going-
you start
So
start swinging for the fences.
yeah, so he's just basically attacking to contain them. He's just performing a delaying action.
Well, you're doing a lot more than just delaying because the strikes that you're making, they're happening rapidly. You go from, like the arm joints, neck joint, and underneath the jaw and the rest of it. It's just a clatter of steel and sparks, and you're just making these impacts. Each one of them causes them to kind of shift a little bit whenever they're, taking these blows. Now, of course, they redouble their efforts and come after you shortly after those strikes are made. One to your left goes in for I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the actual term for it. He basically tries to spear you through the waist to knock you down and over, while the other one seems to be drawing a weapon to going for a slightly different tactic altogether. So just make your defensive action either a dodge or
Parry.
yeah.
So he's going to do a parry. So he's going to, as the one's, pointing the gun at him or pulling up the gun, and the other's trying to do a spear, he's going to do a parry, but he's going to strike upwards.
Yep.
To try to put all the full blow into it to raise it up in front of the other target.
Okay.
Make sense?
You're trying to block the shot of the one behind.
With a body.
Yeah.
27.
Well, their rolls aren't nearly as high as that, so it's kind of the problem.
Thank goodness.
I went for higher numbers, lower rolls. So, I mean, you clink this thing. I gotta see if it's actually going to be able to counter its shot. It does not. So the firearm goes off. You can hear that thunderous crack. And you can see it goes pink. Something happens, and you can see a shudder of the effect of the one in front of you. And it just kind of does that half stumble out of the way, and you're kind of repositioning yourself. All right, Danny, that puts you back at the top again.
Boy, this would be a time to do something.
I tried.
Well,
Okay,
try
so-
harder.
What do we have left that's standing and active before we can
3 inactive
flee?
down below at the center. They might be popping back
Yeah.
on soon. You don't know for sure. There are 4
Right.
targets that he is dealing with, and you don't know if this is all of them, but that's what's visible.
Okay. And 2 of those targets got hit with lightning.
Correct, and they're disabled in a similar fashion to the 3 that were down below in the center part of the warehouse.
Okay. I mean, I hate to keep trying to ring the same bell, but
Well, this is
I'm gonna-
practice. You're literally practicing your craft in the heat of battle.
yeah. I'm gonna try and do that chain lightning again, but I got no extra oomph to throw in it.
You're just
All
gonna
right. Well,
try.
I mean, it's
I don't
worth
think
a
I can
shot.
soul burn twice.
Not while
Insane.
not while you're in recovery.
Right. That would be using a credit card to pay off a credit card. That's not a good idea. So I'm gonna try and chain lightning the other 2. that are remaining standing,
Yeah.
just with my regular evocation of 3d10.
Here's
Fingers
hoping.
crossed.
There it is.
Ooh.
Oh.
There it is.
Ooh.
I exploded into
Have faith
another
in yourself
success.
is what that says.
Okay, so he shakes it off. Oh wait, I have a gift for this.
Let's go for
I've
it.
been saving this in my favorites forever.
The chain.
Where's my? There's my jutsu.
Been saving that for this whole time. That's funny.
I have. So, yeah. So he's going after those other two, and I'm gonna try and buzz them out so we can flee.
All right.
I guess I have to roll my attack.
Yeah, just roll your attack. I mean, if you can get pretty much the same roll that you had last time, we're in good stance.
I'll go 19
Even better.
on the spell attack.
So that is a total of 4 successes. That is 40 damage and 4
Oh, damn.
skips. All
There
right,
you
so
go. At 10 each.
yeah.
That show, by the way, is really good. Have you seen it?
I have no idea what that show is.
So I think it's Dragon Prince.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched. I think the pilot of it. I know that they're like, it just came back on. I want to
just
say
come
in the
back?
last, or maybe a spin-off or something. Just came back on.
I really liked it. It was a good show.
So did Inky
Okay.
on Inky's secret Netflix account that watches anime that I just learned about. That's set to an adult account.
Oh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
called General.
I saw a long time ago. I saw someone who had like on their profiles called one of them settings and changed their icon to a gear.
Yes,
Like this
I
is how I
love
get,
it.
get in there. Although now with the crackdown, they gained like 18 million accounts or something like that because of that, and then now they're raising the price another $3 a month for the premium.
Bro.
Like I'm
Okay,
glad
so-
I killed it. I don't watch enough. of it.
Danny does his jutsu and then
Is it?
oh, I just had to have faith in myself.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about beforehand. I was like, man, all you gotta do is have faith in you.
Oh.
Screw it. Aliens seem like I expected it to. Anyway, so yeah, I
Don't
mean,
touch
once
Danny's
again, you're just
body
kind of
with
like,
money.
okay, can't like let's not screw this up this time.
Yeah.
So
Pumpernickel.
what's interesting though is that because there's only 2 live targets, are you focusing on those 2 live targets?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Ding, ding,
you're gonna
ding,
get the 2 skips, but it's 20 each. So
There you go. I like that. Yeah. Can I make sure it doesn't like skip to
yeah.
Kincaid and to Drew?
Yeah, no, you control the targeting aspect of
Sorry,
that. That's a presumption of this.
It goes to the metal, which attracts it.
Yeah, with the nice little sword.
Yeah.
There it
There
is.
you go.
I don't know why that wasn't working. Anyway, so while you're sitting there, it's like your father's getting to a point now where he's been firing down there and his ears are ringing, and he's just kind of like, what are these things made out of? Like he's trying to figure out what's going on because Hugh and him are like firing down into this cluster of them, and they're basically getting scuff marks. Like it's starting to get to a point where it's getting a little ridiculous. But he turns around and he's just kind of like sees you out of the corner of his eye. And when you're popping that out, I mean, you start like playing with lightning between your hands. It's loud. And it comes across this way. It even causes small arcs to come off the catwalk and just kind of
cool.
like spritz around. Yeah, I mean, like it flares up. And when you go like that, it goes into its tiny little ball that goes launching in exactly the same way. The moment that it makes impact, like he just got done swinging around, he's in sort of a defensive ready position after the one that just got shot. The one that gets shot is the first one to get hit, and is this like crushing sound on the inside and another huge lightning crack that comes through the whole. I mean, it sets like all the dust flying out. So there's like that pop right in front of you there, Bill, where you're, you know, like you kind of have that reaction of like something just making impact from all that extra energy. All the dust that was in and around on the floor literally just goes like comes out to the sides, and they get blasted. The damage is actually so great, especially considering the fact that you critted out, that there's huge holes just where the lightning jumped over and across. Platelets from the one that had the gun in the back go spurting off like cherry red color. You can hear the metal tinkling off the concrete, and they just collapse.
I like that. That's good. You get those cool scars, like when people get struck by lightning. They look like branches and stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, like, those two are definitely gone and done.
I love it.
I like to hear that.
Guys, we should go.
Yeah, and again, that
I
sort of
agree.
unfamiliar voice on the inside of your comms there comes back. It's like, I think I may have found what you're looking for, but I also got locked out. I can't control anything else. I was thinking maybe I'd get the drones, but I can't do that, so you want to leave. There might be more.
I like that plan. Let's go.
So Malcolm just kind of sheathes the sword and goes, Henry, shall we leave?
And it's like, yes, let's get the fuck out of here. Like, just unequivocally. And he starts going down that way, pushing, you know, basically making sure that Danny's out in front and getting moved quick. And you guys make your move out.
Yeah, to our nearby jumper.
Yeah, where you guys had parked out. You guys are on the way there.
We didn't like Uber here, right?
No. I believe you guys had your own vehicle, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's just say we did.
Did we take public transit to get here, Ken? Or did we actually do something else? Let's find out for sure, because it'll actually matter.
I thought we had. That was the whole thing. I thought that we had called for a taxi to drop us here.
Right, and then the freaking baby.
I'm waiting. Just a second. I'm skimming.
I think it was public transit, though. And it wasn't an
Yep.
Uber, but it
It
was
takes
public.
about a day of travel using trains and other ground vehicles.
Yeah, so you guys are going to have to head out on foot, which is interesting. So,
We're hoofing it.
yeah, you guys are moving. You're hauling ass, trying to get the hell out of this area at this point. Hopefully with whatever you might have been able to get from your hacker companion. Basically, hope for the best and just get the hell out of there.
Well, it's a good thing we've got our black tags so that we can, like, if we wanted to, we could call for something. Like,
Well, so you guys are moving along. Just make an awareness check for me, everybody. So, what happens, like I said, Danny, you notice it first. There is a sudden fluctuation of power, and it comes, like, sort of out of nowhere, wide and broad, surrounding you guys all, and then focuses down. You can feel it tightening up and becoming very, very constricted. And then you turn to your left where you've got your dad's moving along. There's this weird glow that's coming out of his shirt, and you don't know what that's about, but the feeling just intensifies as that kind of occurs. What is also strange is that your dad just kind of shakes his head like he's like trying to fight something off, almost being confused or disoriented. And he stumbles when he's just kind of doing that run. He's like, just shakes his head a little bit more. He's like, "What is that?" He looks down. He's like, "Ah!" Like looks down where there's something kind of like glowing in there, like it's that faint blue coming right through his shirt. And he's just kind of like, "My necklace." Like there's some kind of like, because he's had a pendant that you've known about that he kind of keeps kind of tucked in for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And he just looks down at this point. He's like, "What is that?" And you actually feel a sort of like a lock kind of happen. When that occurs, and everybody else is looking over at Tiberius at this point whenever that's going on, to get an idea of what's happening. Then there's this pressure of air that just pushes past everyone else. And when you look to your right towards the building area, it's almost like somebody pulls a thread from out of a sweater, but it goes in a spiral fashion, and it just goes yoinking into some sort of crazy, almost like vortex of a sort. And it's big enough that it's almost about 8 foot tall, just on the side of this building. And it's emitting all kinds of light and some kind of, it's a portal for sure. What you don't
It came
expect,
out of him?
no, not out of him, just appeared next to where he was standing on the wall of the building as
Okay.
guys were moving down the street. And like I said, the way that it looks, it's like somebody was just pulling a thread out of some kind of fabric, and it just unraveled in a spiral pattern and created this portal there. And who steps out is what's startling, because you see your mom come walking out of that portal, and she's got her hair down, she's in a blouse, and it looks like she's a little roughed up, and then Barnaby comes out right behind her. And she's just
Alright,
looking
I
at
need to
the
do-
whole group of you at this point, because it's in the evening, everything's very brilliantly light, and she's like, we don't have time to explain, I'm going to talk to you about it later, let's go.
Danny's gonna glomp his mom.
D, what's the
Yeah.
Second, hold on. A second, hold on. Second, hold on. A second. Okay. Shoot. I don't know what I'm supposed to. What's my threshold for a cool essence check?
For what?
Or not threshold, I mean, sorry, the target.
Oh, I mean, what are you rolling a cool essence check on in specific? For what reason?
Faultlessly honest.
So you're trying to resist that?
Yes.
Well, the target's always 8 unless I specify otherwise.
I always have to ask. Target 8. Explode.
I learned about glomping when I was at a con, and that one of the rules was no glomping.
Yep, SakurCon is where I saw that. Oh, cool! Exploded. So I got
You're like
3
extra
successes,
cool.
One was blanked out. Well,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's almost like a compulsion. I need to say hi to them and say who I am.
Ah, I see what
But-
you're doing now.
I can't say Hugh, so
Well, she knows who you are. She's met you before.
has she?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at my house.
She's been gone
Oh.
for quite a bit doing business trips and stuff, but she knows
I
who you
totally forgot
are.
about that. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're like, keep it cool, man.
Yeah. Well, either way, hell of a cool essence check. I'll be able to, I mean, you basically just kind of just like, whoa, like you keep your chill expression, like you're not like you're shocked, but you don't show it.
And Malcolm just kind of looks at the situation going, yeah, looks like the talent does run in the family.
And it's just like,
Can we use that to get out of here?
that's what I'm trying to tell you. Let's go. And if you guys take a
Okay.
look, a look down the street, and you can see that there are 3 of those same drones running at full sprint. They're a little hobbled, but they're running.
So Malcolm just grabs Danny by the scruff of his neck and just pulls him forward because he notices like Danny's like, Mom? And he goes, "Vroom."
Oh, he was
Boom.
basically attached to her for a minute, so you had to like lift
Okay.
him off.
So
Yeah.
he lifted Danny off and said, and we're going. And he throws Danny through the portal
Yeah.
Into France.
into France.
Night City, Europe. Oh,
So everybody passes through this strange membrane of like light and energy. And when you go through it, there's only this sense of disorientation, like somebody basically took your soul and moved it really far forward, and then your body basically snaps forward and to catch up for like a brief second and a half, and then you kind of stand stock still in this area where you don't recognize it. It looks like an average everyday house. It's got a lot of wide square footage, so it's open rooms, lots of like windows. It's still in the evening, so you haven't changed time zones or anything. But it's a nice house, and it's God Knight City in the distance, the greater distance, but you guys are in one of, more than likely, some kind of gated community somewhere.
Does Danny recognize the house at all?
Not even a little bit. Tiberius
Oh,
is
cool.
the... Yeah, so she just is kind of like looking around and she's like, is everyone all right? Like, and Barnaby's like, "Ugh." That's
Also, I
awful.
don't like the word membrane.
It's just, I'm barely getting used to the fact that you can even do that, let alone that. And it's, can you change how that feels at all? She just, like, gives him a little bit of a smile. She's like, just sit down. And Tiberius is looking at her with this wide expression. It's like, what is going on? Like, he's just...
Poor Tiberius.
Yeah, that portal just swivels, like said, spirals shut, spins together,
Oh.
almost like wrapping the reality back into place again.
Love it. There's a cow behind you.
My cow kitty.
So she just is like, I know that you all have questions. I know. I planted that talisman on you a long time ago in case things ever got strange. And because they started to, I was also given this. Like, she just hands him a letter, just a folded piece of paper basically, but it's in an envelope, and hands it over to your father, who pulls it open and unravels. He's like, this is my handwriting. I don't remember writing this. He's like, you're not going to remember. This was just in case things went sideways. And they have. So, really no point in maintaining any secrecy anymore, is there? He's like, secrecy about what? She just taps the paper, just read. Danny, come on. And she like takes you to a dining room table and sits you down, goes to the fridge, pulls open a soda, cracks it open and sets it in front of you.
Yes. Sweets? Absolutely.
Malcolm
Spending all my
looks at
good boy points.
Malcolm looks at Barnaby and he just kind of taps his pipe on his hand.
And Barnaby's like, and you can see he's got that same sort of roughed up look to him. He's like, yeah, like that. And
Yeah, and the two of them just walk off to go smoke.
What's in the box?
yeah, and whenever she gets done with that, she's like, Hugh, if you would be so kind, you can take a seat here as well. Do you want anything to drink?
Oh, coffee.
Like, I'll get some going. And your father takes a seat, just kind of like reading this whole thing over, and he lays the paper down and is like, this is definitely my handwriting. I asked you to erase my memory? Why? He's like, it's complicated. Now, you already know that you have sort of a less than sterling history, darling. Like, and she puts down a more or less like this, it's just a tumbler with, a 2-finger drop of some kind of amber alcohol that she had gotten from the kitchen, which she ends up basically sipping instead of drinking, which, it's more lethal whenever he doesn't just take the shot full on. But, she finally takes the, second to last chair at the table at this point. Danny, I'm certain that you've been experimenting quite a bit with the talent you have, and I know that you have been doing this inside the house since things have been getting more strange, and we seem to have that kind of luck. We, meaning my side of the family, in this case, seem to attract all sorts of trouble, and have for many generations, as a matter of fact. We seem to... how to explain it? It's kind of a family curse. The reason why I wasn't exactly so shocked whenever I started hearing your father talk about some of the strange things you were doing, or that our house or our penthouse is filled up with all kinds of strange people doing very dangerous things.
Yeah.
About that.
It's been a wild few months.
To say the least. And I've been locked in my business trips. And she just kind of looks up. There's definitely, if you want to try and just roll a human perception to see exactly what that indication is. And she's like, my business trips have been much more well, dangerous than I've been letting on. It's the reason why I've been gone for as long as I have been as well.
Nope.
You just know that
Totally
she
not.
doesn't mean that she was on business in the way you know it. You just don't understand what that means.
My mom is virtuous and pure and would never do anything wrong. So
Well, in this case, you're pretty sure it's not having an affair at this point. That's at least ruled out. But what else it could possibly mean is a bit broad. We're going to have to fix up some of what you've got going on with what you have. I'm almost certain that with your work, you've had to be a bit more discreet, but should probably get you in contact with people who can help make you a bit more effective at what you have. Something for that shotgun you're carrying, which happens to be on the table, just kind of laid out. I know this is going to be a bit
Where are we?
strange, but I'm not. Well, yeah. I mean, I just
Be right back. There's
Yeah.
just a big crash outside.
okay.
Oh.
But she's like, I know that this is unusual because you're used to me being sort of prim and proper and motherly, but in all honesty, it's been required to keep you safe, and I was waiting until such a time that might be easier to discuss these certain things. But as I've said, everything heated up a little bit too quickly, and I wasn't able to really initiate you in the way that you're supposed to be. It's kind of nice that you actually had Brenner as a mentor, though I wish I could have been there myself more often.
my mom is secretly Charlie Baltimore, and
That's a good reference. So, and then your father's like, oh, whoa, hold it, wait. So you've always been able to do magic or spells or whatever the hell it is that he does? She's like, just nods her head, like, yes, I have. And you knew that till we made sure you couldn't remember. It was a request you made. It was particularly dangerous. It's not like magic of the mind is easy.
yeah, we've been dealing with magic of the mind for a while now. That would have made things a lot easier. It's been kind of driving my life for the last several months.
Well, I can tell you this much. I have more information about the one that's actually hunting all of us. By a great degree. I wasn't certain it was him, but the moment I started hearing what was going on with Barnaby, I make more movement. So, let's just put it this way. He's not an old friend, he's an old enemy, and a very good one at that, because he's extremely technologically abled, and has a very strong grudge against your father, for that matter.
Hugh, did we get what we needed from the hacker guy?
He's like, looking around like, from who? And your father's just in the back. He's like, we hired someone at an exorbitant expense. If we couldn't trace the attacker who's been cyber assaulting us for some time now.
Bullying us.
What did I miss? I want to write it down. Like, this is all important stuff. My cat knocked over massive stuff, and I had to clean it up really fast.
Well, as it turns out, just as a synopsis, the father asked or requested that his memory be wiped. She's always had magic, and Tiberius knew this. But he had his memory wiped out for reasons we still don't yet understand. But she also seems to be familiar at a first-name basis as to who this opponent or this hacker is. And apparently that has something to do with everything else that's been going wrong as well. She also mentioned the fact, which I don't remember if you were here or not, that she seems to have a certain tenacity for finding trouble.
Right, the family's cursed.
Right.
I wrote that part down.
Yeah, she basically has got that going on. That's what she said. So, we'll basically leave it at that point. With Barnaby and Malcolm on the outside, you've got Barnaby smoking a cigarette and just kind of putting his hands up high, and he just takes a breath. And
We
he,
can just see them through the window.
Yeah,
Oh, I think
He's like-
Hugh's gonna join them. He smokes too, so.
yeah. So you'll probably get up at that point once your coffee's made after you're listening to this short bit. So you'll be on your
So
way.
he's just packing his pipe and lighting him. It's just so How was your trip?
Europe sucks.
Well, not Scotland.
Fair enough. Well, I'll tell you this much. That woman in there is not who I thought she was. Not even close.
Oh, so you could say that the magic runs in the family.
Yeah, well, she explained that one to me after we had ourselves a minor encounter with serious problems. And then, after she laid it all out for me, that apparently her bloodline has a very specific element of magic that she's been gifted with, as she put it. It seems to be that it also garners the attention of a lot of other things as well, which she then said that the fact we ran into you and Brenner and Tova and the rest of that is all part of some weird karma, I guess. But it sounds to me like she doesn't necessarily believe it that much. It's more of a, this just seems to happen. I don't know that it really is a curse, but she's been running herself ragged over the last several days. We've been fighting to keep ourselves sort of under shelter and out of the way. And mainly, well, the reason was because she lost the ability to go back to where we were. I've been busy trying to protect her from getting shot. And
So
on top of that,
you just heard the pop, pop, pop of the puffing.
Yeah.
This is, so, did you have mechanically inclined, what did the word Hugh say, automatons?
Well-
Hunting you as well?
not exactly. Apparently, and he puts the cigarette out. Apparently, well, she's got less than friendly people on that side over there as well. So we were dealing with a whole different problem, because ever since she has gone underground, she hasn't been using any part of her talents to keep things sort of under wraps. But because this was going on, and because Danny was found out, and a few other things leaked as well, because there was no such thing as privacy, more or less, a lot of her old baggage started to pop up and cause trouble, which I'm really not thrilled about the idea of seeing any more walking corpses.
You're looking at one.
He's like,
You,
well, that'd be
He's
where
still-
like
he-
he would come out and say that.
Yeah, I would.
y-
He would be like, "What are you talking about? That you've met Malcolm."
It's not the same thing, dude.
oh, zombies.
Yeah, something like that. Only far more terrifying than any movie I'd ever seen in my life.
Well, it just seems that our days just get better and better. And then you just hear that pop, pop as he puffs from the pipe.
So, we were here, maybe... We only recently got back to this place. He's basically called it a sanctuary. It's not really highly technological, but it's in some gated community in the Central City District. Central City Hub. And as a result, all of the security and other systems like that are pretty much low-key. But to that effect, she assures me that it has other sort of, well, mystical trappings as well. Kind of keep things on the
Hey,
DL.
What
so
traffic?
Mr. Barnaby, what you're saying is I'm not getting back to my forest anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not. I wouldn't recommend it. The place is fairly large. I mean, this doesn't have as many rooms as some of the places we've been in now, but it's a hell of a lot better furnished.
Kind of tamps out the ash on the heel of his boot, and like stows his pipe behind his back in his pouch, and says, "Hey, well, let's see what this nonsense is gonna be about."
Well, if she knows the attacker like she says she does, that at least gives us something to work with, because without that, we would have a long ride. And apparently, hopefully, maybe whatever it is that you guys... What were you guys doing? And you guys can do the spiel, but we're sitting at 9:54.
Yeah, it's about that time.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's quite the quite the turn. I didn't expect to see Estelle so soon.
Well, she wasn't necessarily planning on being back so soon, but shit went sideways real quick.
Allegedly, yeah.
Danny's just happy. His family's reunited.
And you're gonna find out that you're a wizard all along, Harry.
Yeah.
You're a hairy wizard.
Ugh.
Oh my god.
I
Ugh.
love
So
that
I just want to
disjointed.
call out. I just want to call out that I put sometimes I try to put like headers to each section that we're talking about.
Mhm.
And one of them, because every time we went back and forth between Malcolm and the group in the thing, when I went back to Bill and he said, "I'm going to try jumping out the window," the section I called it, "Malcolm decides to defenestrate himself."
We need to have like the It's Always Sunny titles. The
Well-
gang decides to fight some drones.
Well, I hadn't used levitate this entire time,
Yeah.
except for maybe like he was raging out at one point, and he just kind of was like
Trying
hovering
to get
towards
Danny to
somebody.
calm down. And you just like float up. That was awesome. I like that. That was a cool twist.
Your affinity is definitely electricity.
Well, so we were talking before about time, right? And like Danny's birthday is coming up. So this is 35 for me, so I get a minor milestone. My plan was to take redeemed and redeem my age disadvantage. So get rid of the age disadvantage, and then I can finally become 16. At
Yeah, I
some point.
mean, you would basically be set up as younger, but treated as an adult.
Well, I mean, a certain maturity based off of what you've endured, right?
Yeah.
I was
And I
gonna-
can raise my body above 5. Finally. Not that that's been what Danny's needed, but
Yeah, I was gonna raise my I was gonna use talented and raise my melee master up again because why not?
Of course you are.
Well, and I think that this evening I felt like everything mechanically kind of flowed together really well. Like, there's a lot of good execution. A lot of that stuff was
Yeah.
pulling together.
And how much IP was that for the day?
10,
10.
since these
okay.
sessions are shorter. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I said, if you haven't spent anything up to this point, you'd have 360, but now 370. Episode 37. Oh, yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, I'll be going through that character sheet and doing
Awesome.
some stuff.
I love the shopping. Oh yeah, and man, rolling a 4 on my soul burn. I have never hit a 4. I've always been lucky and gotten like 1 or 2, so it was over pretty quickly. But that
Well, it's-
basically,
Dramatic moment.
yeah, it was
right.
out. I mean, if that spell had fizzled, I would have nothing left. Like, I would be getting penalties on my casting. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll study with Mom and bump up my evocation.
All right.
For
Well, I'm gonna head
sure.
out for the evening. So
Yes.
thank you for the
Yes.
game.
Yep. And to
And
everyone
later.
else, thanks for watching.
Absolutely.
Have a wonderful night. We'll catch you later.
Take care.